found the exact point because I didn't recognize it for like a while. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, Season 6, Episode 12. Lisa, we're back for the second time in a week.
What?
Second week of calendar week, right? We did Wednesday and now Sunday.
That's right. Look at us doing 2 4s.
But yeah, thanks for joining us on this Sunday evening. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, or wherever you found your audio on this podcast, we always appreciate the support. Yep, we're opening up with a song that Lisa and I have never heard of outside of being at Yankee Stadium and just having Trent Grisham walk to the plate. It is No Longer Bound, I'm Free by Maverick City and Naomi Rain and whoever else is in there. So that's your jam. Enjoy. But yeah, we're excited to be here to talk about some baseball. This is probably the shortest amount, right? Because we're only doing one series.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever did, right? So, Lisa, what do we got in store for this evening?
So I'm going to speak slowly because we don't have that much to talk about today while Ed posts some things for us. But we will talk about the Yankees versus the Braves. And happily, the Yankees took the series 2-1. We can also talk about, hey, Anthony Volpe hit a couple times, but let's not get too excited. And then we're also going to start off with talking about the recent E60 that ESPN does on Jim Abbott. If you don't know about him, we'll tell you a little bit more about him in a minute, but he had a very special game as a Yankee. And because he's still alive. He had a really interesting baseball career. So I'll leave it at that. And Ed has to tell us the ending because the night that I taped it was the same night as the draft. And the draft went over and I didn't realize it was the draft. So I put it on for the normal amount of time to DVR record instead of putting like an additional half hour. So Ed's going to have to, I'm on a cliffhanger and Ed has to finish it for me. So, and he said, I probably would have gotten emotional, which Ed knows me well. And really quickly, I just want to shout out our team because we went 3-0 this weekend with another triple header that was brutal weather again. It was different brutal because this time
was it that
like, brutal? This time it was like sticky, humid, brutal. The other one, it was just hot. But this one was more humid because every time I don't know if you saw that point in the game where even the ump was like, all right, time out. And we all lifted our hands up when there was like a breeze. It was like a quick timeout.
I've been trying to always get those breezes anyway, but.
But shout out to all of us for getting through those 3 games. And I'm surprisingly not achy today, which I thought I'm a little bit, but not like crazy. So
I wasn't too bad. I didn't think so. So I really thought it was a lot more hot and humid the week before. The week before, it was like unbearable. It was like soup.
I thought the soup was this week. This week, I was standing under that tree and I took my sunglasses off and it was like of sweat. Like, it was like being held by my sunglasses. The last week, I wasn't sweating nearly as much as I did this week.
Interesting.
This week, I was really uncomfortable, and I ran out of my 2 waters and my iced tea, my green tea, like quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's because you ran out of
my beverages.
Your beverages. Then once that happens, of course, you're going to be like, I'm done with this shit and everything.
Or maybe it's just 2 weeks worth of 3 games each. Yes, exactly. That's pretty tough. But
I can do it. All right. So yeah, Lisa had mentioned there are E60. ESPN had done a new E60 on Jim Abbott, which is titled Southpaw: The Life and Legacy of Jim Abbott. I believe that dropped on the same night as the home run derby, if I remember correctly. So it's been out for not even a week yet. So it is available. I know ESPN's probably going to be running it at times, but it is also available on ESPN Plus. If you do have ESPN Plus, you can jump on there and check it out. I would really say that I would highly recommend this. I thought this was a good documentary on Jim Abbott, and also Jim Abbott. In some ways, I kind of feel like he's not talked about enough with the Yankees because he did throw a no-hitter for the Yankees, and besides, which we'll get into, was part of the documentary. And it shouldn't just be because, the pitcher with one hand threw a no-hitter in the Yankee Stadium. Like, it's a no-hitter, while not a perfect game, is still incredibly difficult. And I think this documentary also does a great job at pointing out the team he did it against.
I mean, just going to say that, like, the lineup for that team, even in the ninth inning, he was facing 1, 2, and 3 in the ninth inning. It wasn't like he was facing, not 7, 8, 9 on some teams is really, really good. But, like,
Manny Ramirez was batting 7th for the Indians at that time.
Yeah, he was a little unknown at the time. He was, like, just coming up, I think. Yeah. But, yeah, like, he had Jim Thome, Carlos Baerga, like Kenny Lofton. I mean, all these guys. It was insane.
Yeah,
Albert Bell.
Yeah, no, the for those who may not remember, like, even though this was 1993, like most of the 90s, the then Cleveland Indians lineup was completely nuts. Like, it was a super deep lineup. The reason they never won a World Series was because they never had the pitching to go along with it. They had this juggernaut offense, but never ever had the pitching to go with it. But yeah, and the 93 Yankees, again, for those who, and I remember we're kind of just on the coming up, like, there was no Derek Jeter yet, no Jorge Posada, no Mariano Rivera yet. The core four were not there yet. Bernie Williams was just there.
There was a young Bernie Williams. Yeah. And I believe Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill was playing. Yeah, Paul O'Neill had just
in left field.
Yes, exactly. Left field. Yeah, because we had Danny Tartabull at the time also. So Don Mattingly was the first baseman. Mike Gallegos played second in this game. Wade Boggs, who was, I am wearing my 96 World Series hat today, but Wade Boggs was on that team. Randy Velarde was the shortstop, I think, and Matt Noakes, who I adored at that time. He was one of my favorite Yankees at that time. Was the catcher who caught the game, the no-hitter for Jim Abbott.
And Buck Showalter, who was flexing Mets hard in this documentary.
Well, that also tells you how long ago these interviews were.
I know.
It was a couple years ago now.
Yeah, he was the manager at the time.
Yeah, so he couldn't really go to, I'm sure if Buck was unemployed at the time or just doing TV, he gladly would have thrown on his trademark Yankee warm-up and just kind of sat there with it. But no, obviously you can't at the time if you're working for the Mets.
No, but what I thought was funny was he was wearing Mets gear, which, I understand that part, but he was sitting in a chair, and every chair had the Mets insignia. Like, it was like a movie theater of chairs, and they all had the Mets insignia. I'm like, damn. Don Mattingly, they interviewed him, and he was just wearing the Toronto stuff. There was nothing else Toronto, behind him.
Yeah, my guess is... Well, I was trying to identify what ballpark that was that they interviewed Mattingly in, because it was probably like, hey, listen, in this morning we're going to interview you for your piece on this for this documentary, and with Buck Showalter, that definitely had to be in Citi Field.
Oh, 100% at Citi Field, yeah.
So that's where that was.
Also, can I just name that Wade Boggs looks like he should be hanging out with Johnny Damon on a beach somewhere?
Oh, I have no doubt that they probably do.
Wade Boggs
probably lives in Florida now and everything too. So
he I don't know, but he was like, dude,
I also think he had some hair product going because it was a bit extra for a man his age. So
I think so too.
Yeah. So it doesn't interest. Did you ever see the movie For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner?
No, that's not. I was going to say Justin Timberlake.
He's the Tigers pitcher, and he's pitching in Yankee Stadium, and he's kind of going through his life story during the game, and it kind of keeps cutting to the game.
I don't think so.
All right. It's a good flick, but I just was referencing that, though, because this documentary kind of reminded me of that, because they go through the no-hitter, but they cut into flashbacks of us telling his life story and everything like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool format,
Me too.
And Jeremy Schaap is there watching the game, rewatching the game with him in Yankee Stadium, and they're watching it.
Okay. Question about that. Did you think where they were sitting was a little bit weird?
Yeah, because they were field level and down the third baseline.
Yeah, because they were looking at it like this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, go sit like behind home platers or in the Yankee dugout or something. The way they were sitting was very awkward to where the screen was.
My guess is there must have been, for whatever reason, their best line of sight to this. I don't know, like maybe for Abbott or something. I don't know. I'm guessing. I have no idea.
It could have been the first base side because then they would have at least been straight on looking at it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But whatever. I just thought that was peculiar.
No, it was. It was a little random that they just happened to choose those seats to watch it from. But yeah, they do a nice job, which was interesting. Seeing Abbott's upbringing from Flint, Michigan, and everything, and then like how his parents were, when he was born without the hand and everything. And at first, they saw it as one thing, and then they kind of like by the nature of the town and everything, like it's just like a very kind of like blue collar, working town and everything like that. And they were kind of like, all right, we're not going to let them hold us back. He's going to go and do what he wants to do, and then wants to be accepted and gets into sports. And finds out he's really good at sports, even though he kind of was dealing with the fact that everyone was he was always going to be the guy that everyone looked at because he didn't have the hand. But I've always been fascinated with the whole throw, catch, flip. Like he just does it so seamlessly.
Yeah,
it's wild. That's the thing. It's really the fielding of his position that I was always like blown away by, and also the fact that he has one hand and he made the major leagues. Like that's a big thing, and the part that I guess you didn't see towards the end, and I think this was the part where they have the interviews of other athletes, like there was an NFL player for the Seahawks and everything, and there was also someone on the women's U.S. soccer team, and he inspired all these future athletes and how they look up to him as the one who was the trailblazer for them to follow their dreams, even though they, did this with one hand. How their view of Abbott, he didn't really realize what he meant to these people that followed in his footsteps. And they showed him on the iPad while he was watching like videos about them. And he was getting choked up, and you could tell he's like wiping away his tears and everything. Like, because the part that you saw though I thought his journey was really interesting, because they go through how like he was fighting to want to not be known as the guy with one hand or the pitcher with one hand. He wanted to just be the pitcher. He didn't want that to be the label. And he fights so hard for that, and then he was starting to get that, right? Like people weren't focusing on that so much. But then there was a lot of kids that wanted to meet him, fans and everything. And he started to realize that maybe I should embrace that part more because of what he meant as an inspirational figure to these kids, and that's why he started to change his mentality on that.
Yeah, there was one point where I was getting frustrated for him, and I got the sense that he probably was frustrated at especially at the beginning when he was on the Angels. He was on a late night talk show. I couldn't tell which one it was, where the person was like, "Hold it up, hold it," and I'm like, "Who?" Like, and I get it. It was the like 80s and early 90s where there was less of a. I mean, there's still, not that much of a filter now, but like, it's like
Jason Pierre-Paul, who had the fingers blown off.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. No, I was actually going to say it's like I remember Sofia Vergara used to talk about this a lot. She used to say how a lot of, and Bad Bunny has said it too, how a lot of American interviews are always like, "Oh my God, I'm so fascinated that you know how to speak English." Like, or when they struggle with a word, people make fun of them. It's like, why are you focusing on the thing the person doesn't have much control over, right? This man was literally born without a hand. And in the documentary, a doctor says that it's 1 in every 250,000 people, which, like, if you think about it, it's kind of common-ish. Like, yes. That's not a large number of people in the grand scheme of things. So, why are you talking about something that this man never had control over? And you're like, At no point in his life did he have control over this. And he's clearly got a talent that doesn't have anything to do with that part of his body. Like, he can't use that part of his body. So, like, I get the fascination initially, but for it to have gone on for as long as it did, like, that's got to be like, come on, man. Can you see that I'm pitching? Like, can you see that I made it to Major League Baseball? And then the other thing I want to say about that too is that there is also a pressure around knowing, because he got choked up when the media relations guy from the Angels showed him letters from kids as well, which was really poignant to me as well. And then they had like the whole segment about him meeting different kids at every ballpark. That must be like, as much as like that probably felt good to like meet those kids and give them hope and inspiration. I know one little girl wrote in a letter that she wanted to be a doctor, and she didn't think she could do it until she saw him playing baseball, which is completely different than being a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm really curious if that girl ever became a doctor now too. I kind of want to know if she did. Oh, do they say it at the end?
To watch the ending. To watch the ending. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that makes me excited. Okay. So, but like, that's also that's another level of pressure that people probably didn't realize he'd been carrying around.
I don't think he realized it, because I thought it was. I do sure really like the fact that he was very honest about it, because he, like you said, he at first wanted to just be known as the great pitcher. And I do think that there is, if you're going to tell his story, that you do need to acknowledge, but you don't like telling him to like hold it up and everything. That part of it, I think, was
disgusting.
That's what you don't do. Like, you can acknowledge it, show maybe highlights of him, doing the whole flip, like, because that is, that is a big thing. But like, acknowledge it, but move on. Like, you don't focus on the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's just the way that you cover it, and I like the fact that this documentary goes into how his view of it, and then once he started meeting the kids and started seeing that, he decided, I'm going to embrace this now because I mean something that I never really intended to, right? So I'm going to be the first one. And I don't ever remember seeing any kind of other stuff on the other professional athletes that followed in his footsteps. One of them was an NFL player. I mean, that's a whole nother level of like tackling and everything. I'm pretty sure he was a defensive player, if I remember correctly. Like, that's a different thing. And also Jim Abbott, I didn't know that he was a quarterback in high school. Like, and they were going with him, teaching him how to accept the snap and everything. And like, obviously he has a rocket for an arm if he's,
clearly,
baseball. So I can see where that talent would cross, but I didn't even think of how the whole football aspect, like taking the snap out of the shotgun and everything, like that's got to be a whole nother thing. Even handing it off, but he figured it out. He was making it work. Like, I was really, that part I didn't know, but I was pretty blown away by that.
Well, I was really impressed by when he was a kid, when they showed that brick wall, and he was like, I would just throw a ball against the wall, and it would, like, because it was a brick wall, it would come back. So he just taught himself how to like be able to catch it, and then he would move up and try to catch it in the air too. So like, even at a young age, this is one of the things that I think is cool about what his parents decided. Like, we're just gonna raise him as if everything's fine, right? Like everything's fine. Yeah. You're just gonna keep, like, you're gonna do all the things everybody else does as much as you can, which I love that. And I think that helped him as a kid to like test things out more, right? If his parents favored him, or if he felt like people were pitying him, he maybe wouldn't have pushed it that hard. I also love the story he told about his teacher in second grade. That like the teacher taught himself, meaning the teacher taught the teacher how to tie a shoe with one hand so that he could teach him.
Yeah, that was.
And I thought awesome. that was really touching as well.
So there is a follow up to that at the end of the story, the documentary also.
Oh my gosh, I really have to find those last.
You want me to say what it is?
No. I'm gonna no, because I'm gonna go look on YouTube.
Okay, because it is something that's really hard. I'll admit, there's a couple of times throughout this I got a little choked up too, where I was just like, That's pretty awesome. Like,
if you did, I'm totally gonna bawl after I watch that.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. I actually remember as a kid when they traded for Jim Abbott, and I remember being very excited because of I remember in Clayface Angels. I'm like, oh, we got Jim Abbott now. Like, this is great. Oh, we got Wade Boggs. Like, and that's when the Yankees started really coming up with there.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the story I didn't remember was about that involved Jack Curry.
Yeah, that was a good story.
That was a really good story though, because like we were saying, like he wanted to be focused on as that, then he was criticized about that, and his knee-jerk reaction was to kind of go the other way with it. And he's like, you know something? You're right. Like, your criticism is absolutely fair. And he apologized.
I think it's awesome that Jack Curry was like, no, you said you did not want anybody to treat you any differently. I'm not treating you differently. You suck right now. You have to improve.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
I thought it was great. And I really didn't know that part of the story either. I mean, I was 13 when this happened. So I didn't, I didn't recognize that part. I didn't even know who Jack Curry was at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember JT Snow, who they traded for him, and I was pretty excited about him as a kid. But yeah, when they got Jim Abbott, I remember being excited and then being, kind of frustrated with him. And then I watched the no-hitter with Steve's brother Kurt. I remember watching it in his house. We were like sitting on the living room floor watching it, and I remember going crazy after that. Like it was pretty awesome to see that, and the fact that he got a hit too. Like I didn't remember when he got traded to the Brewers, and then he had to hit at the time, and he goes out and got his first major league hit and everything like that. That's even a tougher part. I would imagine
that is tougher.
Yeah,
that is tougher.
I mean, shit, it's hard enough to do with again with two when you're trying to get your whole strength, but like with that, it's just like, bang, that's really impressive. And yeah, the whole the lineup he shut down. The way they explored that and they were going inning by inning throughout it, I thought was really cool. And I love the fact that there were no punches pulled. It wasn't like just a fluff piece or anything like that. Like they seemed like pretty straight up and like legit about it. You really got to see the ending.
I will. So I want to name a couple of things because like I obviously knew who he was just in general, and I knew about that game. But some of the things I learned from this or that I was impressed by, he got a scholarship to play for Michigan, which that's a big freaking deal. That's a huge sports school. Huge sports school. And then he won the 1987 Golden Spikes Award and the Sullivan Award. Those are both for best athlete. Like, again, very impressive. What I did not know at all was that he was on the U.S. baseball team and they won gold for the Olympics.
Yeah. Also
really cool. I wrote down a couple of quotes some things that he said in there. So when he was initially asked to meet with families who had children with abilities similar to his, he said he didn't, you don't always know the fight that people are enduring. You don't know the power of simple acts of kindness, which I 100% agree with that. Like, you have no idea whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional thing that somebody's going through, especially the things that you can't physically, like his, you could physically see, right? You can't see some folks what's going on in their lives. And literally just holding a door open for somebody can make a difference. Or just like nodding and smiling at somebody while you walk down the street can make a huge difference to people. I love it how he said that he found out he was traded to the Yankees when his mother-in-law picked him and his wife up from the airport.
That's a shocker right there.
She was like, you got traded to the Yankees. Which I guess is better than being like, you got traded to Milwaukee back in the day. Like,
or something like that, yeah.
Like somewhere like more isolated than Los Angeles. I thought I had. Yes, here's the other quote. He said this in the beginning. Sometimes people who are different might feel that there's a gap to what they might be able to do, and the world doesn't have to dictate what is possible for you. I love that.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't mention this last week, but he also did throw out the first pitch against the Mariners last Tuesday night when I was in. I thought that was pretty cool. And I remember like I was with Alex. That was the game I was with Alex at, and he was going up to go get some popcorn or something like that. And I went over there because I wanted to see the first pitch. I felt like a kid again. I was just like, I ran over there. I'm like, holy shit, it's Jim Abbott! Like we got to go ahead and see this. So I was pretty hyped for that though. So yeah, I highly recommend if you're a baseball fan on any level, not just a Yankee fan. Really, really good documentary, worth your time. It's like an hour and 25 minutes. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is good stuff here.
Sure. Yeah, very, very worth the time. And I really appreciate that he also does public speaking engagements.
Yeah, it's like
because I think like his story is one that people need to hear, because there are people who have more abilities, more body parts that give up on things, and he's just a testament to like you can really like achieve a lot of things if you just believe that you can.
Yeah.
So and I love like that kind of spirit in people. It's really motivating. So highly recommend it. There is something else that we forgot to talk about last week, and I just remembered it when you said you wanted to talk about the first pitch. So I just want to go back to, sorry, not last week, on Wednesday. We forgot to mention, because we both loved it, at the All-Star game during the 6th inning when they did the tribute to Hank Aaron, and it was like
sick.
Filmed on the field. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Whoever came up with that, brilliant concept.
And the fireworks that show the trajectory of the home run.
And even the fireworks that showed the projection, the trajectory of the home run, and there was just like everything. Well done.
Yeah, kudos to Major League Baseball. I think they had
I know what it was when they followed him around the base path.
Yeah.
Also, like, so cool.
That was a pretty kick-ass. I really think they had a big All-Star night and All-Star break, like between the home run derby and between the All-Star game with the swing off and the tribute to Hank Aaron. I thought they really had, for lack of a better term, they hit the home run. Yeah. So yeah, Major League Baseball doing good things, with that. So all right, speaking of some baseball, we do have one series to talk about, because it's only been a series since. When the Yankees went ahead and took their talents down to, well, actually, some of them were already in Atlanta. So, I mean, Judge, Jazz, they didn't go too far. They pretty much
didn't go far. Actually, like half the team was already there.
Yeah, so, but it looks like Friday night, they kind of forgot to know that the All-Star break was over, because they went ahead and dropped that one by final 7-3. This was a game that Cam Schlittler was supposed to start and got scratched due to some upper right shoulder soreness, which thankfully everything came back clean. So he will be pitching against the Blue Jays. More on that in a little bit. But Yanks with a bullpen game, and it did not go so well, where Ian Hamilton was the first one out. He took the loss. His record's now 1-1. He went 1 inning as the opener. 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. So his season, he was actually good earlier today, but not a great season so far for Ian Hamilton. Ben Rice, though, was 2 for 4 with a run scored, 2 doubles. Giancarlo Stanton was 1 for 1 pinch hitting. He drove in 2. Cody Bellinger 1 for 4 with an RBI, and that was the 3 runs for the Yankees. The low light of this game, or highlight, depending on your point of view, was the Yorbit Vivas tagging up from second and going to third on Ronald Acuna Jr., who was deep in right field, who made a Judgian Roberto Clemente type throw from right field to gun him out. And why he wasn't sliding is beyond me, where Luis Rojas was screaming for him to get down, and he stood up and got tagged out. That's bad news. That's just bad baseball. Like, what? That's sloppy shit right out of the All-Star break, which is why it felt like they kind of were sleepwalking through this game, and it was pretty frustrating. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, you hyped up, baseball's back. Haven't seen them since Sunday, and then you get a dud like this right out of the gates. That sucked.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, 1, what is he doing? 2, why is he being so casual? Like, I understand Acuna Jr. has to make a really like perfect throw, but he's clearly capable of doing that. Like,
yeah,
clearly he's an elite player. So for you to just casually like jog into third is what it looked like. It was just sloppy. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. I don't care if you're up by 10 or if you're losing like you were in that, like, you bust your ass, run.
Slide. That's all you had to do was slide, and you were in. Like, not a big deal. But these are the kind of attention to detail things that just happen. And
you want to pay attention to.
Yeah, there was a little more, but even though last night was mostly, good. Well, I'll say half and half, good stuff and bad stuff, because it didn't start off so well. But it's just attention to detail things that seem to happen with this team way too often. Just shouldn't. And I know Boone was asked in the post game, why didn't he just pull him out of the game immediately? And he was just kind of. He should have. He should have just. And you're a guy who doesn't. You're not a starter. You got to start here, and this is the kind of shit, and this is why you will remain. Not one of the reasons you'll remain not a starter. Like, those are the little details. If I was Boone, I probably would have pulled him out of the game. To be honest, right then and there, he never would have went back on the field, because that's ridiculous. And I think that's the accountability that a lot of fans want to see with the team. Like, send a message. And I get that the front office, they have Boone because they don't want that type of manager. But, like, at some point, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's not over the top.
He's done it before, so he's fully capable of doing it.
Yeah, but it takes, like, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking what I'm thinking. Like, my first thought goes to Glaber immediately. Like,
Glaber, and he did it to Aaron Hicks once. He had to, because the entire stadium was.
Well, that was because I think Aaron Hicks looked like he was gonna, like, run away and just say like it was over. But Glaber, he made an example out of Glaber.
No, he made an example out of Glaber, yes.
And I think you could have done it right there. You would have been like, listen, we're not going to tolerate this shit. Like, that's not cool, man. And I think he would have gotten a message.
You know what's crazy too is that it felt like, so, like, you're right. I think Aaron Hicks, he absolutely, like, he had no choice, but he really wouldn't have, because I think he really liked Hicks. I got the sense that he didn't love Glaber, and it kind of showed a little bit a couple of times, but, like, that was, like, the ultimate time, because you never see him doing that. I don't know if he like, I don't know, has, like, a, what is the word?
Love spot?
Yeah, for your bit. I don't know. Because he totally
shouldn't. He barely knows the guy.
Right, he shouldn't. You're right about that. But maybe that's why. Maybe because he's like, he's not, like, he probably won't be a big.
No, but
big
I think that I don't even care about that. But that's the opportunity where you send a message. You do it to send a message, not just to him, but just to the entire team. That this kind of shit's not going to be tolerated. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's been happening too much. And whatever. We'll get in. Do you have anything on Friday night further before we jump to Saturday? Because Saturday.
No, but I do want to say one thing before I forget it. I would like to talk about Jazz Chisholm Jr. needing to calm down.
Oh, there was some of that. Well, I know Major League Baseball.
It was today too.
Yeah, no, Major League Baseball is actually looking into that. They were supposed to look after what happened because, ironically, well, let's flip the cards over to last night's game, because actually, Lisa, we watched some of this game together.
We watched a very positive part of this game together.
When it was starting to turn around. When it was starting to turn around is when you had to get going. The Yankees it looked like it was going to be a whole lot of more of the same early on. Will Warren didn't have much, but the Yankees would go ahead and eventually rally back past the Braves by a final of 12-9. They erased a 7-2 deficit. It was one of the best wins of the year. It was right there with the win against Seattle when they were getting no hit into the 8th. That one was actually more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
This one, in my opinion, right there with it, though, because Will Warren got a no decision. Was it a comeback? 3 2/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. Luke Weaver came in and looks a lot more like Luke Weaver now again, back to being the jungle cat. Once again, by the way, his post game yesterday was completely off the wall. I actually
I missed it. Dang it!
I'm sure it's on YouTube. Look on Yes Network. And
I'll
I'll try to
definitely
share it
look.
onto our page. Yeah, he was out there again talking
He
about.
always is.
It was something along the lines of pitching like the fate of the world is like at stake and everything like that. And even the Yes crew was cracking up when they were talking about it again. It's talking about being like a superhero or something like that. He was definitely back to being Luke Weaver. But he came in after Jonathan Loizaga. Was the Yankees just came back and knocked it down to 1 run. He comes in getting smacked around again. They got a big issue with Loizaga. He looks terrible.
Dylan Betances was talking about it today before the game.
Yeah, he looks brutal. So
yeah, he does.
And I get some situations you can't go to your high leverage guys with the lead every single time or when it's tied. Like these guys got to pitch at some point. But I think Loizaga probably needs to be demoted down a little further to kind of straighten himself out because like the velocity's there, but his location's all over the place. So you got to chill with that. But Weaver, though, an inning and 2/3, got out of a bases loaded jam, which could have been much worse to keep the Yankees hanging around in there. So before they made to finish the comeback, no hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. Anthony Volpe had himself a night, and boy, did he really need it.
Yes,
he was 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, giving him 12 on the season. 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. One of those was the game-tying home run late in the game, which was a big one there. Cody Bellinger 2 for 5 with his 17th home run of the season. 2 runs scored, and Trent Grisham 2 for 5, and a grand slam, which was the 17th home run of the season. 5 RBIs, a double, and 2 runs scored. That grand slam coming to untie the game in the top of the 9th. And man, that really was some comeback. They really just kept fighting and fighting, and there was even some just chipping away, like sac fly here, ground ball, RBI out. Like it wasn't just home runs and they blasted their way back. I mean, obviously the home runs were part of it. You hit 4 on the night, but it was really encouraging to see them again fight back like this. Like there was a stretch where they never came back for what was it? It was more than 3 runs down at any point in the game all season until the Seattle game, and now you've got 2 of those in 2 weeks. You don't want to fall back behind that many, but it's nice to see that they have the ability and have gained the confidence to come back in here. There was one flub of a detail that was reminiscent of the Yurvik Vivas one, though. There was a double that was hit, and both Grisham and Volpe went out to get the cutoff. Nobody was at second. Judge goes ahead and gets the ball, fires it to second base, and nobody's there. Now, I know Girardi was kind of like on the telecast, was like, all right, maybe they have him, maybe they don't. But the fact that that's a lack of communication, it's just another detail that you got to clean up. Like, this is this is bullshit. That you can't, you're major leaguers, dude. Like, on our Saturday softball team, I would go nuts about this as it is. Let alone, like, you guys are professionals, dude. Like, come on. What the hell is that? But thankfully, it didn't hurt them in the end.
So I have 2 facts about this game. In the bottom of the 5th, when Ozzie Albies hit his 2-run single, he had 9 RBIs in 2 games versus the Yankees, which is 3 more RBIs than he had for the entire month of June.
He was killing the Yankees this series.
He was. And then the other one was that this was Anthony Volpe's first multi-home run game of his career.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's something to build off of because, boy, does he really need a strong second half. I mean, he really
does.
Yeah, he's really playing for it. I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about this plenty for the rest of the season, but he really needs to step it up, man. Like he has to show something here that he is the guy that is the starting shortstop for the Yankees, not just like by title. Like he really earned this thing. Because if this goes into the offseason and he has another half like this, number one, it would be really hard for me to imagine him getting back to the World Series if this is how bad he's going to be. But on this night, he was awesome last night. He definitely was. So you got to tip your cap to him and hope that he plays on. All right, but the Yankees would go ahead and take the series, rubber game earlier today by a final of 4-2. Marcus Stroman continued his strong work since coming back from the IL. Listen, gotta give credit where it's due. He picked up a win. He's now 2-1 on the year. He went 6 innings instead of 5. Get that pitch count down. That was good to see. 5 hits scattered. 1 earned run, which was a bomb.
Oh man, Olson. Was that? Shit. That was. Wait, I wrote it down because it was ridiculous. It was
658 feet.
Oh no, I didn't get his. I got Ronald Acuna Jr.'s, which was also a big one.
Oh yeah, that was a shot.
He said 650.
I think it landed in my pool in the backyard. Like that was insane how he teed off on that.
Yeah.
But no walks, 4 Ks. Devin Williams picked up a save, his 14th, which definitely was like a John Wetland type save where he gives up a bomb to Ronald Acuna Jr. to start the inning. But thankfully, he had a 3-1 lead and then settled down 1-2-3 for the next ones. So it's fine. If you're going to give up the shot, let it be a solo shot and retire the next ones. Aaron Judge, 1 for 4 with his 36th home run of the year with a walk and 2 runs scored. Jazz Chisholm Jr., 2 for 4 with an RBI and a double, which was one to left center, which was nice to see. Also, a bunt single earlier in the game.
Yes, so that bunt was great.
Yeah, and also when he hit the double, remember, like, the umpire was trying to go ahead and say that it was a pitch clock violation, and he was like, dude, I had my hand up calling time.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see the umpire not just, like, fight back and be like, no, that's it, because that would have been strike 3. Think about how pivotal that call was, though. Cooler heads prevailed. He called it off. Next pitch, double in the gap, driving in a run. That changes the complexion of the 9th inning, then, if that's how it stayed. And Giancarlo Stanton, 3 for 5 with a run scored. And Lisa, he scored from second base on a base hit.
He did.
How about that? How about that?
I knew you were going to say something about that.
Oh man, that was something here.
It was painful to watch, though, I have to say.
He was definitely in neutral, or I don't know, for him it may have been high gear. I definitely see the Yankees training staff was like, dude, there's so many leg injuries. Like, just jog. Yeah, just don't do it. It's not. Just jog. It's not. Just hit the ball really hard, and we'll take what we get.
Which he did. He did all 3 times.
Jesus, he was smoking.
Yeah, he smoked the crap out of that ball. There was one. The one over the shortstop's head where, like, he jumped, but it went over his head. Mm-hmm. And Joe Girardi was like, did that – I forgot who the shortstop is. He's like, did that go through him? And Michael Kay started laughing. He's like, it might very well have.
So, I don't know if it was today's telecast or yesterday's, but Girardi definitely did drop in. He says, well, Michael, I can say that is what you want.
He did.
Like, acknowledging the whole, thing.
He does. He does, because Michael said it today, and he started laughing. Yeah. So he knows he says it. I have 2 facts about this game too. So Ronald Acuna Jr.'s solo home run in the 9th was 456 feet, which is a lot. And that was the longest ever hit off of Devin Williams. And then when Aaron Judge got his home run, which was number 36 on the year and number 351 for his career, he tied A-Rod for 6th all-time as a Yankee.
Yes. The stain on Yankees' legacy, known as A-Rod,
continues.
Well, whatever. We'll pass him up now. So it's okay.
What?
He said he'll pass him. Judge will pass him, and it'll be the end of that. We could just put him in the rearview mirror. And
oh yeah. I definitely do not need A-Rod getting any shine right now.
No, I'm good.
I'm the last person that wants that. So, well, maybe second to last. I don't know how J-Lo feels.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. There could be a list. I'm sure there's a list of people.
There could be a list. Yes.
He's burned many over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
But unfortunately, the Blue Jays did go ahead and sweep the San Francisco Giants, so the Yankees will remain.
They're on a streak, man.
Yeah, they're on fire.
Our friend Sean must be loving it.
I'm sure he is. I mean, I'm sure, my manager also is loving it too. We'll have plenty of texts and emails and Slack messages the next couple of days as this is going on. Hopefully it's me reaching out to him as opposed to the other way around. All right. So, what do you think? Awards or no awards? Since only 3 games.
I would like to give awards because my top of the heap deserves it.
Okay. All right. So let's flip it over then. Little abbreviated top of the heap and King of the Hill for this week. But who's your top of the heap hitter of the week?
Based on how excited. Based on how excited I was, I think you know who it is. It is my boyfriend, Giancarlo Stanton.
Nice.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, for the 3 days, he had an average of 625. His OPS was 1.477. He had 2 RBIs, 3 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks. His on-base percentage was a 727, and his slugging was a 750. Good job. And you ran home from second base.
That's the most impressive part of it. That's what I was most impressed with. No, Stan had himself a nice series. I got to go with Trent Grisham.
Pick?
I'm going with Trent Grisham.
Okay.
Yeah, the grand slam to steal the comeback yesterday in the 9th inning off of Iglesias, the Braves closer, was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this could have went to Volpe, could have went to Stanton. Those were kind of like the lead guys. I mean, you can throw a Judge in whenever you want to, but yeah, I got to go with Trent Grisham because that was super clutch.
Yeah.
And 5 RBIs out of the 12. Pretty impressive.
Very.
All right, so the King of the Hill pitcher of the week / series.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, I got.
All right. You got yours?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. We might have the same person.
Luke Weaver. The Jungle Cat.
The Jungle Cat. Okay. I mean, I always love when he gets recognized.
No, listen, he was clutch. He pitched it in both Yankee wins on yesterday and last night and today. He was an integral part of it, and I'm glad he's starting to look like Luke Weaver again. He looks dominant. Mm-hmm. His body language even says everything. His whole demeanor. He's getting wacky in post-game interviews again and stuff like that. So to me, that signals that he's back. Hopefully he's back because the Yankees bullpen, Jesus,
I know. I can't take it anymore.
It does not look good for a good stretch. So
no.
Luke Weaver is who I'm going with for the series. Who do you got?
I gave it to Marcus Stroman.
No, well deserved.
I also wrote shout out to JT Brubaker. That was my runner-up.
Saving the bullpen a little bit.
Saving the bullpen.
Yeah, it's big. All right, so that takes us. Well,
I'm sorry. I just looked at my notes for the Jim Abbott doc are underneath my pitching probables, and there was one thing I wanted to name. Did you know how big a pitching rubber is and how far down it goes? Because I didn't.
I'm going to say that I did only because I have seen one before this. And I think it may have been, was it in the Hall of Fame or was it during the Yankee Stadium tour? I have seen one, and it's kind of insane how big it is. I
couldn't believe how deep it goes underground. I mean, I didn't think it was just like a flat thing. I knew that, but that thing was huge.
Like a cinder block.
It and long.
Yeah, no, it's kind of nuts.
I was really surprised with how long it was. Is really what I was surprised at, because he was not many people know what this is, and I was like, yeah, what is that thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, this is the mound from that game, and I was like, what?
Yeah, why do you have a cinder block? That's what I kept thinking of. That's what Why do you have a cinder block in your baseball memorabilia section?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I just wanted to name that too.
Yeah. All right, so we do have a huge series coming up. Yes, it is July. Get that. There's a lot of baseball left. But should be a pretty exciting series. The Yanks got swept in Toronto not too long ago, and they are back there again because of a weird scheduling quirk. So it should be really interesting. I mean, we really need to see the Yankees respond with some snarl, some let's go. And you can tell they lined up their pitching for the series too. Mm-hmm. To go with it. So who was that lined up pitching?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. They definitely were we're not playing, and I think on both ends they said that. So, so tomorrow night, Kevin Gausman goes up first for Toronto, and he's a righty. He has a 6-7 record, 4.19 ERA, and 104 strikeouts. He's going to go up against Carlos Rodon. He's a lefty. He just had an amazing 8-inning game. He's 10-6 for the year so far, 3.08 ERA, and 135 strikeouts on the season. For Tuesday night, Max Scherzer is up for the Blue Jays. He's a righty, 1-0, 4.70 ERA, which is obviously not typical Max Scherzer. 24 strikeouts on the season, and he'll be up against my cousin is the Schlitt, Cam Schlittler, which that sign was the absolute best. Cam Schlittler is a righty. He's 1-0 so far, 5.06 ERA and 7 strikeouts. And then on the 23rd, we get Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays. He's a righty, 10-4 record, 3.89 ERA, and 109 strikeouts. And this game should be a really good pitching matchup. He's up against our ace, Max Fried, lefty, 11-3 record, 2.43 ERA, and 113 strikeouts on the season so far. Hopefully, his blister woes are all done by then. Also, we didn't mention this. Shout out to the Braves for shouting him out before their first game. I thought that was a classy move as well. I'm sure he really appreciated that, even though he didn't play against them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was probably like chomping at the bit to start that first game on Friday night against Spencer Strider, who is himself also Spencer Strider being a runner-up for the tightest pants in Major League Baseball history, because I'm pretty sure those were painted on. I don't know how one does that, but him and Tommy Kahnle battling it out to see. And Robbie Ray. Those are the three guys. Robbie Ray's another one. Yeah. Robbie Ray of the Giants. Here's another one. I don't know how this happens. Like, I think they're like yoga pants or something. Like
well, you know who has tight pants and he can't help it?
Oh, well, yeah, the big dumper.
The big dumper. By the way, I asked the leadoff hitter on the team, I was like, is this after Cal Raleigh? And he goes, yes, it is. And I was like, I love that about your team.
And then they were treated,
and then we proceeded.
They were treated accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen, big thing. The Yanks got to maybe try shutting down George Springer this series, since he basically put up softball numbers last time. And I also absolutely can't stand him. Really can't stand him. Like, my God, he's definitely
got a bit of a touchable face.
He does. He absolutely does. He's definitely in my tops of base. Maybe not the top. I think Altuve is there currently.
I was going to say only one person has the top spot.
Yeah, George Springer is probably a solid number 2. Like, yeah.
And Vladdy Jr. I mean, he's chilled
I
out
don't like him either. I think he's a bit of a.
But he's in that top 5. He's in that top 5.
Yeah, him and his whole thing, and we'll see if there's any kind of stuff with the Yankees getting signs and all the other crap. Remember a couple of years ago, there was the whole thing about like the nonsense. And we'll see how many times Aaron Judge gets intentionally walked. Because that's going to happen. I'm going to guess like twice a game he's going to get intentionally walked.
Probably.
Yeah. They want no part at all.
And then hopefully when they do actually pitch to him, he'll do what he did last time.
Exactly.
He'll look at their manager and be like, oh, okay, you going to let me hit? Okay.
Okay. You got this. Here you go, former Sky Dome. Boom. Hold that. All right. So I think that does just about do it for us then. All right, well, thanks for joining us as always. If you joined us on the Facebook live stream, be sure to check out the Empire 161 Show's Facebook group, where we share all our fun lineups and highlights and everything else that we whatever we get into the show as well. Also, check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com, because that's who we are presented by. And we're checking us on YouTube. Subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. Wherever you found your audio-only podcast, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. And I feel like I've been forgetting this lately, but yes, we are also on Instagram.
Yes, you have.
I have, and I'm not doing it anymore. That's it. It's back. Because it's so much easier to read now. On Instagram, at Empire161 Show. Lisa handles that account. She shares about a bunch of fun stuff on there as well. So be sure to check us out there. We will be back next week, recapping the series against the Blue Jays, right?
Well, I got to talk to you about that because next week, you know where I'll be. We'll talk about that.
We'll figure it out. We will be back at some point next week, and we'll figure out. It will not be Sunday night. I can promise you that.
It won't be Sunday night.
At some point, we will. So, we'll see you next week. Let's go, Yanks. Take it to the Jays. Peace.
Bye, everybody.